Yo, what's going on, guys? And the other day, I guess a week or two ago, we already knew Matt Ryan was going to sign with the New York Knicks. That information had come out a while. He had joined their G League team through the draft, as did Landry Shamet. Landry Shamet's just working his way back from the dislocated shoulder. But also Ariel Hukporti joins the team. So I want to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think of these two additions? And let's get right into today's video. This is definitely something that I think is interesting, as they're strengthening their depth, because Matt Ryan and Ariel, first off, I think Ariel's going to be a really good center for them. He's a guy who played for Melbourne United and he played in Germany. The guy was, before he popped his Achilles 2-3 years ago, he was almost a first round pick before he decided to continue playing pro. Either way, the New York Knicks made those moves to bring in Karl-Anthony and Cale Bridges, but those significant moves led to them having lost a lot of their depth due to the assets they traded away. So to address their rebound, and they're one of the worst rebounding teams, and their only backup center until Precious Achiuwa comes back has been Jericho Sims, and I will be honest, it hasn't been pretty. So bringing in a guy like Ariel is going to be really helpful, while they bring in Matt Ryan, who's going to be aiming to keep. Matt Ryan's like a dead-eye sharpshooter, who Matt Ryan last year played for the New Orleans Pelicans, and he basically spent all summer with them. But he's basically going to be playing the Bojan Bogdanovic role we saw last year, as Matt Ryan played 15-20 minutes a night last year and averaged a career high of 5.5 points per game, shooting 45% from three. So if he can maintain that three-point efficiency, he's going to be a huge help for them, because the type of caliber player he is from deep is huge. And while we look at Ariel, if you haven't been following him, he's a 7-footer who's, even though he popped his Achilles, dude, he still's got decent athleticism for being 7 foot 250. The way he moves, and last year, he was a guy who averaged 8 and 7. So in the German league for Ryzen Luxembourg, isn't that the team that Dennis Schroeder owns? I'm pretty sure 8, 7, and 1.5 blocks, 57% from the field. So he's a guy who's a big body, got some passing ability, and has some shot blocking ability as well, as they need some interior defense, especially with injuries to key big men like Mitchell Robinson, who's currently out with an ankle injury. So when you see Hukporti's, am I saying that correct? But Ariel's rim protection, a guy who he showed that he has a strong defensive presence, and he's a guy who was able to help reduce, the second chance points for opponents by being a decent rebounder, and especially that he's shown that he's still mobile to be able to defend the pick and roll and run the pick and roll. So I think them bringing Ariel in, the Knicks having him on a standard deal, because he was on a two-way deal, so they're just converting him, and they're probably going to go sign another guy on a two-way to make up for the spot. But this is a team that currently ranks 18th in defensive rating, 114.8, and his contributions could help lower the opponent's effective field goal percentage of 60.2%, which is the worst in the league. So by doing this, it allows them to help address the depth that they lost during the acquisitions of Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony, which have undoubtedly strengthened the Knicks starting lineup, but it came at the cost of depth. So key rotational players were likely, going to have, or were likely going to affect how this roster did. So now, bringing in Matt Ryan and Ariel, I think Matt Ryan's going to provide scoring off the bench while ensuring minimal drop-off when starters rest, and the experience and the shooting ability and efficiency really will give them a reliable option, while Ariel is a guy who could really work out well. But with players like Cameron Payne and Mitchell Robinson and a few other guys out for a while, I just think it's definitely interesting. So I want to hear your guys' opinions. Looking at this situation, what do you guys expect from the Knicks? Because when I look at this, I think it's definitely, did you just hear that, Car? The Knicks have a strong offense, but they need to get their defense down. They could enhance their interior defense, lower their opponent's scoring, and improve their own defensive metrics. I think if they can, Matt Ryan's shooting can help increase their offensive output without sacrificing their efficiency, especially when the guys sit. And their starting lineup has a net rating of plus 18. Has a net rating of plus 18, but their overall net rating is fifth in the league. So there's signs here showing that this is a good team. It's just, let's put it together. But I want to hear
your guys' thoughts. The rest we're just going to talk about Matt Ryan because Ariel's less likely to make an impact.
In Matt Ryan, the sharpshooter, who used to be a graveyard worker. Yeah, if you guys didn't know, during COVID, he was a graveyard worker. But either way, he was just with the New Orleans Pelicans. He was a guy who shot 45% from three last year. But in all, he's with Landry Shamet, who suffered a dislocated shoulder. They waived him, and they need to sign two guys, like Sean Sharani has said, in 2 weeks. I personally think if they do sign Matt Ryan, who he's the best three-point shooter available on the market, I think they're going to convert either Kevin McCullough or Ariel Hukporti from a two-way to a standard contract, and then sign somebody else to a two-way. That just, in my opinion, makes the most sense if I were the people, because then you put like someone. Personally, I think probably Kevin McCullough more than Ariel, because they have Jericho Sims already there and Karl-Anthony Towns, and they can play Ariel on a two-way. But I think if you convert Kevin McCullough, who they drafted, and then you go ahead and you sign Matt Ryan, and then you go out and you got another guy in a two-way, you're able to bring somebody in Kevin McCullough on a non-guaranteed multi-year deal, while also Matt Ryan, who he's been in the league since 2021. He's played with Boston, the Lakers, the Timberwolves, the Pelicans. Last year was the most he's really been implemented, 14 minutes a night. He's like a 6'7" three-point shooter. And again, he's just the guy who would literally just need to come in 8-10 minutes a night to help give, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Mr. Mikal Bridges a breather every once in a while. But besides that, free agents available in the NBA right now are very, very scarce. I'm telling you guys, if you don't want Matt Ryan, they don't need a guard. Like, it's not like they're going to go out and get Dennis Smith Jr. or Markelle Fultz. Doug McDermott got picked up by the Kings. Jay Crowder, in my opinion, at this point, is just like not going to be someone who's going to help them. I guess Daniel House Jr., his three-point shot wasn't falling last year, and the same thing with Robert Covington, but those are two vets that could go in. I still rather have Matt Ryan at that point. Same thing goes with Danilo Gallinari, who's, a power forward who actually played some center last year for there. There's also Justin Holiday, who's a spot-up shooting guard who can play some defense, and Troy Brown and O'Shea Brissett. So one could argue that there's a lot of options out there, but that's definitely where I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What would you do if you're the New York Knicks?